Sure, good morning. My name's Harrison Edell, Harrison. Edell is Edell. I'm the Executive Vice President, Animal Care and Conservation here at Dallas Zoo. I wanted to share an update with you guys, put some rumors to bed. First thing this morning, our zoologists found that one of our two clouded leopards was not accounted for. So of the two sisters that live here at Dallas Zoo, they're both between 3 and 4 years of age. One is safe and sound in her habitat here at the zoo, but the other was MIA. And so we triggered what we call a code blue, which essentially brings the staff resources that we need to find a non-dangerous animal that's not accounted for. And I'm going to encourage everybody at home to Google clouded leopard, because some of the early accounts say leopard, and a leopard and a clouded leopard are dramatically different animals. So the cat that we're looking for is about 20 pounds, between 20 and 25 pounds. She does not pose a danger to humans. And more likely than not, when she's scared, she's going to climb a tree, stay out of our way, hunt some squirrels and birds, and hope not to be noticed. So at this point, we've spent much of the morning searching zoo grounds, and we continue to hunt for her. It is working to our advantage that we're in winter, so there's not a lot of tree cover right now, so that's going to make it a little bit easier for us to find her. We did locate the tear in the mesh that she used to leave the habitat, but thinking like a cat, she likely went straight up to the trees and has not come down. So we are spending a lot of time with binoculars. It looks like we're bird watching, but we are hunting for a leopard that we believe is likely still on zoo grounds. Again, she's about 25 pounds, 4 years old, and we don't believe that she's going to go very far. We cannot say thank you enough to Dallas Police Department. We have DPD officers that work here at the zoo during the day. The officer on duty today shared with his station that we had a code blue. We had some assistance from DPD, and they're still on grounds now. And specifically, they have access to 1 million technological tools that we would never have access to otherwise, so we cannot thank them enough for their assistance. Yeah, so we have officers that are coming in. Some of the DPD technology that we're using are things like drones that have infrared capabilities to see up at the treetop level. Again, thinking like a clouded leopard, they are designed for life in the trees. So she's going to go up and stay in cover. For us, looking up, we're going to continue to miss her, but with some of the technology that they've got, that's given us an advantage, which is phenomenal.
We see the markings on the DPD crime scene. Do you know why crime scene is one location?
We don't have a comment on that yet. We'll share more info once we've got more to share.
Is a possible theft being?
It's too early for us to speculate one way or the other, so we'll keep working on finding the cat. Our highest priority is finding her and making sure she's safe and sound first.
Harrison, outside of the tear in the mesh, any other indicator as to how long Nova may have been gone?
We do have security staff on grounds overnight, and we have some animal care staff on grounds overnight. So we know that at 1 a.m. We had staff who believed that both the cats were still accounted for in the same spot, but the specifics of the timeline are something that we're still working through right now.
Do you have any idea how the mesh tear?
We don't yet. We're still working on that too.
Is that something that occurs just occasionally, or do you think the animal is?
It doesn't happen all on its own. We check the integrity of every enclosure every single day, a couple of times a day. So this isn't something that happened and we didn't notice it. But again, the timeline and the specifics are things that we're still working through right now.
Any message to neighbors, in addition to the zoo being densely populated with trees, this area of Oak Cliff has a lot of trees too.
Sure.
If someone should notice this clouded leopard, what's the ask?
Yeah, we've got tons of photos of our clouded leopards on social media and on the zoo website. So if people are curious as to what they're looking for, they can absolutely check the websites and compare photos. If you happen to see a cat that is bigger than a house cat, smaller than a bobcat, we'd love a heads up. And photos are always helpful too to make sure that we know what we're looking at. So if people have the opportunity to snap a photo of a cat that looks bigger than usual, we'll take any tip we can get.
Do they call police or 311?
I would say call the zoo's main line or shoot us an email through social media. That's the easiest way to get in touch with us. And we have folks monitoring those 24/7. So.
You spoke about the mesh that was to tear apart. Is that the only security it has, the cage, or what is the animal inside?
So the habitat where our cloud leopards live Sorry, the habitat where our clouded leopards live is a mesh-enclosed two-story habitat. The tear in the mesh is big enough to have accommodated her, so that's how she left the habitat. But the specifics of the engineering of it and the specifics of the tear, we're still working through specifically how we think that happened.
So is that the only security measure, just the mesh?
That's the primary containment for the habitat, yes.
Can you talk about how the person discovered that the cat was missing?
First thing every day in a zoologist's job, we do head count of every single animal. So they're checking in with each animal, making sure everybody looks happy and healthy, and then preparing the routine for the rest of the day. So that first head count, first thing in the morning, is when we could account for one of the clouded leopards, but not the second.
It's hard to imagine a world in which nobody thinks it's a good idea to maybe set a trail of food for a big cat, maybe try to get it into one's home. Tell us why this might not be a good idea, or if it is.
Sure. Even though this is a small cat, she is only 25 pounds, this is not a tiger or a lion, she's still got a full complement of claws and teeth. So to the earlier question, what do I do if I see her? We don't want anybody trying to grab her. She's not a house cat, this is still a wild animal, but any photos or tips would be helpful. So.
Are you convinced that she's still on the grounds, most likely, that she has not taken off somewhere far away? Is the zoo enclosed with a fence such that would be hard for her to get?
Yeah, we do have a perimeter fence that encloses the full zoo that is a safety measure. Thinking like a clouded leopard, they tend to be territorial like a lot of cats do, so she's not likely to go out and travel in a direction. She's likely to be linked to home. She and her sister Luna are pretty close and usually attached at the hip. So knowing that Luna is still in the habitat and Nova's not, I just don't believe it's likely that she's traveling. She's likely still on grounds, but just up, tucked away in a tree somewhere. So we will spend the rest of the day scouring those trees trying to figure out where she's hunkered down.
Is there any video of the habitat?
Cameras in the zoo, and we're reviewing those right now.
One good thing is we don't hear about these emergencies a lot, but it has happened in the past where animals escape this habitat here in the zoo. You mentioned that there's overnight security, and during the day, staffers do a head count. Any other security or safety measures in place, or protocols in place that prevent things like this from happening?
I mentioned at the beginning of the day we do head counts on every animal. We do those head counts throughout the day, so anytime we're interacting with animals, we're gathering head counts to make sure we can account for everyone at the beginning of the day, but also at the end of the day, we're shifting animals in and out of night spaces. So with cold weather, we always want to make sure that animals have access to indoor barns. That gives us another opportunity at the end of the day to make sure that we know exactly where everyone is. Again, the overnight security crews have specific rounds that they are walking to make sure. And I would say, especially in a couple of our departments, depending on what animal activities are going on at the zoo, we often have zoologists who might be here overnight, and so there are additional opportunities to sort of keep tabs on what's going on. So I feel like we have a lot of eyes on the habitats throughout the 24-hour period.
When was the last time?
Cold blue was a non-dangerous animal.
Correct. Yeah.
When was the last time you had track of her? Last night? When was it last night?
You know, there are details of that I need to hold on to for now.
Can you tell, since the clouded leopard is new to a lot of us, can you tell us a little bit about the uniqueness of the animal? I saw
Sure.
the pages, I think.
Yeah, clouded leopards are a real unique small cat designed for life in the treetops. So they have an exceptionally long tail, incredible claws for climbing. Most of the prey that they hunt in the wild would be squirrels and small mammals and birds that are up high in the trees. They do come down to the ground from time to time, but it's not frequent. They're more comfortable up high. And they are a species of conservation concern in the wild. They're hunted for pelts in the wild. They're hunted out of fear in the wild because people are afraid that they might steal livestock or be dangerous. They are absolutely not a dangerous animal to humans, though. So.
I saw one place they're the smallest of the big cats, but you referred to it as a small cat.
Yeah. I think typically when we talk big cats, we're talking leopards, jaguars, lions, tigers, big cats. Those are all animals we would consider dangerous to humans. Small cats, like bobcats or lynx or clouded leopard, are a smaller animal. If anything, she's real nervous and afraid of people. She grew up at Houston Zoo. She is accustomed to people, but she is definitely not tame. So she's more likely to avoid a stranger than she is to come down and investigate or challenge.
What is the likeliness that she finds she looks for food?
Yeah, you know, we have a ton of native wildlife that live on zoo grounds as well, squirrels and birds. I wouldn't put it past her to hunt some of them if opportunistically she had the chance. That is something we're talking a lot about is over the next few hours or so. What food items might she be more into and more attracted to than others, to try and figure out if there's the ways that we can reward her for coming down and coming closer to us. So we'll try and puzzle through that as well.
Is this such a combination of zoo staff and DPD?
We're continuing to work with DPD. They came out immediately with a crew and extra sets of eyes, and all of that technological access were really, really helpful. At this point, we still have some DPD officers that we're working with on aspects of this, and then we've still got a full crew of zoo staff that are working here with binoculars, scouring trees to try and identify where she's hunkered down. Sure. Thank you, I appreciate it.